how to install Git, what is Git terminal, what is the difference between Git and GitHub. So this is a very important interview question. How to create a GitHub repository, how to generate SSH keys for SSH agents so that you will be able to get the data from SSH repository or push something into it. What are the different areas while working with the Git? What are the commands we use in Git, the basic commands, and even some complex commands like rebase, and common commands like clone, push, pull, fetch, merge, stash, etc. What are the different type of branches, how to create them, how to manage them, how to merge them, we will be seeing in this video. How to create pull request, and what are the best practices for Git. Please stick with me till end for having a complete understanding of Git. So let's get started with what is Git and why do we really need it. So as per the documentation for Git given, Git is nothing but a free open source distributed version control system designed to handle everything from small to very large project with a very speed and efficiency. Now as a noob, I never understood what does that really mean. So let's go step by step. So the first thing is it is free. Why is it free? You don't have to pay license for it and it is openly available. Secondly, why is it open source? Because the source code for Git is freely available. You can share it among your friends. You can even customize it according to your needs. Now what is distributed? So this is very important. Why is it distributed? You will get to the real essence of this in a further video, but as for now you understand that it is not centralized. Means the repository is not centralized. It's a one place, but everybody can clone it and use it and do the work in their own local way. So that is why it is called as distributed. It is not at one place. Everybody has its own copy. And the very important part of this definition is version control system. So what do we really mean by version control system, and why do we really need Git in so badly in this real world IT world is being answered by this question, that why is it a version control system. So version control system is nothing but a record keeper for you. So say for example, if you have a file, okay, now in this particular file, suppose 2 or 3 people are working together. What will happen if 2 or 3 people in the same team is working on a same particular file? Then the version control system is nothing but the one who keeps the record as to who changed this file, how many days back it was changed, what was changed. All those records is kept by Git, and even it helps in resolving and discovering the conflicts that may arise when multiple team members simultaneously work on the same file and they might have made the changes at the same place. Then it is the work of version control system to help us discovering this particular change. So that was all about the theoretical way what Git was all about. So let's get started with the practical implementation. So the very first thing we need for this particular tutorial is Git. So the first thing we have to do is to install Git. So this is the link gitscm.com. Here you will be getting the Git in the particular version. So if whatever you have, just install it for that particular operating system as I'm installing. The exe is gonna be installed soon. Okay, so we can see that Git is now installed. Now I'm going to open this particular thing and I'm going to click it for installation purpose. It is asking me, do I need to allow it, and I'm going to do yes. So I'm going to do next, and this is the place where it's going to install it. So I'm going to do next. I want a desktop also, and just keep it as next. So this is how I'm going to create it with next, and it's going to create a start menu for me. Now Vim is not what I want. I want Notepad++ is my default editor, so I'm going to take that. This is also a third party, that is okay. Keep it the way it is recommended for you for the next few more next, and then just create install. And now this is being installed for this. So we are about to complete it, and you can see that it is completed. So I can do next. And the Git is done for us. Now to test whether Git is installed successfully or not, we don't have to do anything much. We just have to go to our folder wherever we want to have a new repository. right click there, and you can see that in every folder you will see this option git UI here, git bash here, and even here you can see the git available for you. So this is how you can make sure that git is installed successfully. And now we can proceed further since we have already downloaded git in a local system. So let's move forward and let's see what is the difference between git and GitHub. So you have seen that once downloaded git with exe, you have understood that it is something which is very local. So git is something which is local to our system. So now in this particular folder, I can create my project, whatever workspace I want to create, I can run my code here. And similarly, if I have a big team around with me, say for example, this is me and I am trying to code at my system. This is my system. Similarly, this is one of my colleague, and even that person is trying to code in the same place but at their own local system. So the code will be here at my system. This person, which is my team member, is also going to have the code at his or her own local system. So now problem will arise that if I have changed something on my system, then how will I make sure that my team members, like, they have the latest code? They can't always come to my local system and ask what changes I have done to the same workspace if they have the same code with them, if I have shared with some mail or something. But I cannot always do that, right? So there, like, this is only with the 2 people. I can have 4 or 5 more team members, so all of them can't come to my place and see what changes I have done. So there must be one space which is a centralized space called as repository, where I can put my code, these also can put their code, so, and I can pull their changes. So even since they can also pull their changes. So making this possible, like, everybody should be able to put their code in this particular repository and pulling and pushing into this particular centralized repository. So maintaining this particular repository is the work done by GitHub. So GitHub is nothing but an online centralized platform or service which helps the team members to collaborate their work together at a centralized location or the repositories. So that was all about Git. So there is Git at the system, there is Git at the system, and this is the GitHub, which is an internet way where we can share all our changes at one particular centralized location. So this is the distributed form of Git, and this is the centralized form of repository in the form of GitHub. So that was the main difference between Git and GitHub. Remember this because it is very important from interview perspective. So that was all about the theory. Let's just get started with creating these repositories now. So for creating the repositories, we need to go to the GitHub account. So I already have a GitHub account created for you, a brand new account, so that we can start from the scratch thing. So this is something my GitHub account. Now here I'm going to first start by creating an organization, because we are going to learn Git in the perspective of a real-time organization. So rather than doing it in a very local way or something which is very not related to IT world, we will not going to follow that path. We are going to completely follow how it is being created in the organization level. So you will be asked for choose a plan. So I would suggest I'll be joining it for free as of now. Now organization account name. So I can say Code Decode Learning, right? And this is my organization's account name. Now what will be the email address? So I can say Code Decode Business @gmail.com, which is my Gmail ID, and this is my personal account. So I'm going to go next. This is like welcome to GitHub, and I don't want any organization member as of now, so I'm going to do complete setup. So this is how I've created my complete setup for organization. So this is my organization name. This can be any Infosys, TCS, whatever it is, the organization name will come here. Now we are going to create some repositories, because you can see there are no repositories here. So I can create a new repository, but before creating a repository and understanding it, let's understand in a bit better way. So let's remove all this now. Now understand this, okay? This is my organizational level repository. So I can say this is organizational level. Now I can have from here different type of repositories for my team. So that can be a way that if it is an Infosys, I have some source code. I don't want anybody to modify this particular thing. So every team member should have their own repositories created rather than creating the branches. If you are working on a very small level, you can always create branches from this organizational level repository. But I will never suggest that, because in a large organizations, they never want you to modify anything in any of the branch of an organization level repository. So always fork it. So how do you create a particular copy of a particular repository? You just fork it. So this is how the two particular members are forking it. Now once you have forked these organizational level repositories, these two repositories are created at user level. So this is my admin level. I'll show you these levels by doing it by my own. But as of now, understand this diagram. If you will be able to understand this, it will be easy to understand how I code there. And this is user level. Fine. So this is a repository. This is again the forked repositories at the user level. And now what will users do? User will actually do nothing but clone these repositories. So this will become local repositories. Fine. So all these people will create first from the organization level, create the user level repository, which is a git which is this till this part we are on GitHub only. This particular thing is done on GitHub, and this once you clone it, that particular repository becomes your local repository on your particular system. So this repository will be computer specific, and these till here, from here to here, these will be on the internet on GitHub. So if this much is clear, let me go ahead and do this particular thing for you. So what we have done at organizational level, I'm going to create a repository. So for that, first I need some, so I'm going to do something on the admin level. So on the Git, I'll create a folder called as admin. Fine. Now once this particular admin is created, I'm going to create a source folder for me. So I have a source code folder which I want to put on GitHub. So this particular folder will have my code, say HTML code, Java code, JS code, Python code, TypeScript code, some images for me, git.asp icons as of now for demonstration purpose. Now I want all this code to be available on GitHub so that my users or my team members should be able to fork it and make some changes in these files, and then they can continue their work. So as an admin, what I have done, I have created my repository. Here, this is my local repository. Now what will I do? I have already created, so I'll create a repository. I've already created this organization. I'll create a new repository here. So what will be my repository name? I can put my repository name as say source code folder. Source code. I'm going to create it as private because I don't want to share it with anyone. I can even click on public so that everybody would be able to see. So the way you want it, and now create a repository. So can you see this particular repository is created, and this is my SSH link. So this is so easy. This was how I created a particular organization. This is how I created my source code repository. But now I want to clone this. So cloning is an easy thing. Like I can use this SSH key and I can clone it. But before that, we need a SSH key setup. So why do we need an SSH key setup? Because whenever you want to put something into this account or get something from this account, you always need some privacy and security. So for that, the secured SSH key is created. Now I'll be demonstrating you how to create the SSH keys. So let's get started. Here in this Git, I'm going to do git bash here. So this is how you open your git bash. Okay. Now I'm going to copy something which is nothing but an SSH key step generation. Don't worry about these slides, I've already covered these slides for you, but I'm just opening these slides to copy some of the commands because these are some complex commands. So the first step, I'll give all these commands to you in the description section, don't worry. So the very first thing for generating an SSH key is to generate a key tool for it. So I'm going to paste it. So now it's generating an SSH key for my code decode business@gmail.com. So that is nothing but a business email ID for my channel. So now it is going to create an SSH key here. Now it wants me to enter a file to which this particular thing is saved, and by default it is being saved at C users, a username. This is a fake username and the RSS ID. So this is going to be a default one. If I press enter, so I'm going to press enter here. It's now asking me for passphrase. So this is nothing but a password. Whenever you try to clone something, push something, pull something, it is going to ask for security password so that it makes sure that it is only you who is doing it. So as of now, it's not a much critical thing for me. So I'm going to press enter and I'm going to press enter. So this particular SSH key is generated. So what we have to do, we have to copy this particular like the path, and we are going to paste it somewhere so that it is available for us in case we will be needing. So yes, we will be needing it, and I'll go to this particular path for you. C users, my gate, and .ssh, and in .ssh you can see two files. So this is nothing but a public RSS key and this is my file. So I'm going to edit with Notepad++, and I can see while editing that this is my private SSH key available. So that was the private key. Okay, so I have made sure that that particular thing is done. Now this is the second step, which is a very important step, because just generating a key is not important. Also it is important that we should always create the SSH agent in the background. So starting SSH agent is not that difficult a task. I'm just gonna paste it here and my agent ID will be shown here. So by generating an SSH agent, the particular SSH agent is now being running at the port number or process ID for that particular agent is 689. That will be different for all of you. And now what we will be doing, we are going to do SSH add and RSA. Now in the previous way we have seen that it's simple ID underscore RSA. So I'm going to only cover till ID underscore RSA. Fine. So what we are doing, we have added a particular RSA file, ID underscore RSA. So what was that? ID underscore RSA. In that, this is ID underscore RSA. This particular key is being added with this particular business Gmail ID of mine. So this is the only two very simple steps to create the SSH key and add it to the agent. So what we have done till now, let's just summarize. We have created a SSH key, and with this particular command RSA key is being generated, and that particular RSA key we need to add it to a particular agent. So for that we have first initialized the agent process with a particular process ID. This PID is a process ID, and then with this particular agent being running in the background, I have added my RSA key to that particular agent. So now I have authorized myself that I'm good enough to pull or push to this particular user ID or Gmail ID being generated at GitHub way. So this is how I made sure that my things which are at my local Git, using GitHub, I can put that data to the internet on the GitHub. So this is how I've created the SSH keys, added to the agent. And now what we are going to do, we have created the SSH key here. That's very good. But now how will my GitHub know, this GitHub, that yes, your particular source code is being added to this particular plan, you are the valid person. So to make myself a valid SSH person, I'm going to go to my settings. In settings, I'm going to go to my SSH keys, and here it says that I don't have any SSH key here. So I'm going to create a new SSH key here, and it should begin with this particular the title I will be giving code decode Lappy. and this should be my key. So it should begin with SSH-RSA. So let's go. Is it begins with SSH-RSA? No. So let's go back. Let me open this for you. So it does starts with SSH-RSA. So make very sure that you follow all the commands, and in this particular, don't get confused in these two files. Always add this public file to SSH keys. So it says it starts with SSH-RSA and it is being available at my codedecodebusiness@gmail.com, and I'm going to add the SSH key. So that was as simple as that. So this was all about the basics of Git, why we need to use Git. In the next upcoming videos, we are going to see how to use Git in a professional world, in an IT world, and what are the best practices used in these giant MNCs. So please stay tuned. Thank you.